Post-match reaction, couch edition. Look, it's great to get the win. It's definitely a somber feel about it. Just watched a fair bit of the post-match here, and yeah, you can certainly see a lot of the players are pretty flat, despite getting the result. So yeah, may as well talk about that first. Pretty grim. Sammy's injury looks like an Achilles. Looks like it could be a long time, possibly the season. And yeah, that could mean that we've basically lost our 1 and 2 ruckman in 2 weeks, and time to break out the old gold, which, might get us a couple of results, but I think we will be honest with ourselves, and man, it's going to be very, very difficult to do a lot this year without those guys. I mean, we probably didn't expect a lot, but yeah, it's going to make it pretty hard. On the game, though, big 7-seater Peter. What a great game. What an awesome way to get back into the team. Get yourself a bit of confidence, particularly heading into Anzac Day. And even just the rest of the season, really. Because the way he sort of came out of the side last season was pretty hard for him. Getting omitted for the first time at the club and then not really finding his way back. Wasn't unreal at VFL level and the games that he played there, and just did what he had to do. Got on the end of a couple of good ones and then took some really nice marks and went back and used that beautiful kicking action that he's got to cement us the win. So yeah, really stoked to see Peter. He's going to be in the team now basically every week if he's fit, considering the injuries to our ruck stocks. Absolutely wrap for Pete. Other players that I liked, Nick Martin was probably best on alongside Pete for Essendon. Obviously took that really big mark and kicked a goal, which I think was our last goal of the game, if I'm right. And then obviously had the ball in his hand at the very end of the game, which was nice, and a few actions to the Eagles crowd, which was a bit of fun. I thought he was fantastic, floating through half forward and then up the ground at times as well. Will Setterfield, I really liked. I think he's the best tackler at the club. I think it's fair to say. Like, Jai Caldwell's pretty good. Zach Merritt's also very good with his pressure play, but yeah, I think when Will Setterfield's fit, the Equinox, his tackling game is the best of the club. And yeah, he was awesome tonight when the game was really tough. He was one of the real vital players who helped get the ball going the right way, as did Dylan Shield. Again, another good game from him. Had some really good moments and hit some good targets as well, which we like to see. From the defensive side, I thought Andrew McGrath had a really good game. We're all very critical of him, I know I am, but when a lot of the other defenders were looking very shaky, I thought he was one who looked a bit more calm, rebounded really well when we needed some run and carry, and he looked like someone who was pretty reliable for a lot of the game. Had a pretty good matchup with Cripps. Cripps won some good moments himself, but Andy McGrath certainly didn't have his colours lowered, and yeah, thought he had a really good game. Who else did I like? I'm struggling to think of other people. I'm sure there's someone glaringly obvious that I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, look, ugly game. I predicted a pretty big win on Thursday night, but I think a lot of us knew that this was going to be pretty hard. The Eagles started really well, which is what I think a lot of us expected. But, as soon as it got back to 3 goals, I was pretty calm, I think. Like, 3-goal margin, and I always knew, I was like, look, we will continue to fight until the end of this game. And I know from what I've seen of West Coast this season that they are going to drop off in the latter parts of the game. We were obviously winning the contested ball, winning the clearances, doing all those things right. It was just about shoring ourselves up by foot, not turning over and making really bad mistakes, which we'd done in the first half, and and punished ourselves. And then obviously be able to take advantage of when we did win the ball from a stoppage, which we started to do in the second half. So I thought that was really good. Archie Perkins, actually, he was one I wanted to shout out. Quiet game, and then bopped up for 2 really vital goals. Took a really nice mark for that first one, and then did the really good crumbing work to get on the end of his second. And that was really what spurred on the comeback for us was that sort of moment there. So he was another one of mine who I thought did pretty well. The breed battle was interesting, Archer versus Zach. I actually think Archer might have got the win in that game, as much as I'd like to say Zach did. And look, Zach went into the ruck late and, wasn't embarrassed. He fought and competed, which I think is all you can ask for someone who's never played in that position. I think we're all a bit worried that he was going to cop a knee in the guts just like Dersma did. Sounds like Ders is okay by the sound of things. There was no real mention of him in the post-game from what I've seen so far, so sounds like he's okay. But, yeah, look, it's nice to get the win, but, yeah, it's got a bit of a sour taste, this one. And, yeah, now the fixture's going to get a bit tougher. It's hard to think if we're going to win 3 games in a row again this season. I'd love to say that we will, but it's going to be tough. And, we've beaten 2 teams who haven't won a game yet. A pretty undermanned Port Adelaide and what was a pretty scrappy game. We're far from the finished product. I think we all know that. But, yeah, next Friday's pretty ominous. The Pies look very good. There's one thing you can usually expect. It's us to show up and bring that intent and bring that endeavour. It's whether or not we can have the polish is the question. They'll probably be without Darcy Moore. We'll obviously be without Sam Draper. But, yeah, it's going to be hard to make a case to pick them. But, look, crazy things that happen. Who knows? Maybe busting out the old gold might just be the trick to roll the Pies on Anzac Day and make it 4 in a row. I'd love for that to be the case. But, yeah, not sure. Not sure if that's going to be the thing that happens. And then, I can't remember who we're playing after that. But, yeah, look, just pretty sour. Pretty sour in this. Like, 2 ruckmen in 2 weeks. If you lose 2 key players in different positions, you kind of go, oh, well, someone's going to get opportunity. But you're looking at going, well, you lost your 2 ruckmen, who were young ruckmen anyway. And then you've got old gold, Vicentini in the VFL, who's he's definitely not AFL standard yet. And Cale Guerin, who absolutely is not ready for AFL footy just yet. Like he's got a lot of time to develop, and he's a long-term project. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how we manage this. Do we go down the route of your clubs who just don't play a second recognised ruckman? Will we run a big midfielder? I mean, we don't have many big midfielders, but do we run an extra mid at a stoppage and just go, we're going to lose the hit out, but we're going to rove it, Is that the way that we might see Essendon start to play this year? I think we might have to. We might be sort of forced into that sort of style of football. But, yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah, nice to get the win. 4 points is always great. 3 in a row is great, but losing a very key player and a beloved player in Sammy Draper is not. That's all from me. Have a nice long weekend. We'll be doing a podcast on Monday morning, so if you've got any questions for the mailbag next week, want to send in a hot take, send those in. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Go Dons.